All right, welcome everybody back here to the Mr. Christopher Hayden Show. Right now, we have not talked to you in a while. How you doing, man? I'm doing good, man. How you doing? Oh, I'm doing good. You know, obviously, we wanted to talk to you a little bit about some changes in your life. Obviously, we thought there wouldn't be any changes ever. And, well, we got a lot of changes in your life, including a new position at a job. Talk about that. Talk about other stuff. Obviously, 2020 going into COVID and vacations. So let's start with the 2020. Obviously, you get to Hawaii. How exciting was it for you to get to Hawaii before COVID started? You know, it was very exciting. I was very happy to get to Hawaii right before COVID started. You know, my plan after I got all 50 states done was to look for a girlfriend, and you know, my plan was to get a girlfriend right now and be able to maybe travel and have kids with her. And right now it's sadly on pause. I can't even do that right now because of COVID. So it kind of stinks right now, but you know, it's making me learn a little bit more stuff, and it's making me feel grateful about what I'm doing. So it stinks, but I'm very fortunate to have done Hawaii right before COVID hit. Right before the pandemic came. I was very fortunate to get all 50 states done, and I can't tell you how happy I am to get it done. Sadly, I can't travel this year. I'm hoping soon I can. Hopefully soon I'll be able to look for a girlfriend, and hopefully we'll be able to take these stupid masks off and get back into it. Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. Yeah, obviously we want to get back to normal as well, and hopefully these vaccines will do the job. But real quickly now, I want to change topics here. You got a new job. Talk about that, man. Yeah, it was very interesting. You know, I looked at a job posting online on the Ken 10 website, and I saw that there was an opening from 9 to 5:30 for Lindbergh, and I said, you know what? Why not put in for it? You know, I wasn't happy because I was working with a douchebag at Kenmore East, and I was just happy to be gone with not seeing him anymore. So it is what it is, and it's interesting. I gotta ask you this question. I know you're not gonna be doing this, but what were your thoughts processing that when you first heard that job? Talk about that when Mr. John Willie called you. You know, I was excited. I was processing that in my mind, saying, man, it's awesome. You know, I get to work 9 to 5:30. I get to see all the hockey games, all the football games. I don't have to take off work much now. So it was very exciting. I was very excited for this opportunity. I was really looking forward to this opportunity, that I was going to be able to go into work and say, man, I get to now go into work, and I have to work 9 to 5:30. I said, this is awesome. It's phenomenal. I'm excited. I'm excited to be getting out of work at 5:30. I didn't know what to say. I was just so shocked that I got it. I was so excited I got it. And I'm very happy that I did get this job, and I'm very excited for this opportunity. And, you know, it was very, very interesting and very, very happy. Talk about your process leaving Kenmore East. What was your thoughts on maybe your last day, if you want to talk about that? So, yeah, towards the end of Kenmore East days, you know, I won't lie, I did feel sad leaving. You know, my brother's the principal there, so I went to school there, and I've worked at Kenmore East for a while now, since 2016, I believe. So it's been a while since I've been to Kenmore East. You know, I remember 2017, 18, 19, 20, I believe. I got to work a couple summers there. So I think maybe 3 or 4, I don't remember. I think it was 3 summers there. So I was very happy to get, you know, I was happy, but I was sad. You know, I looked at all the teachers at Kenmore East, and I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. You know, I was very, very sad to leave the family. You know, I love everybody there. You know, Bob O'Connor was probably one of my greatest teachers there. I grew up with a lot of them because they were teachers when I went to school. So they were awesome people. You know, I love seeing my brother every day. You know, it stunk. It did stink to get out at 11, because if I wanted to meet up with a girl, I couldn't do it at 11. But you know, it stunk. But it processed. You know, the last couple days, I kind of like looked. I went through almost a lot of classrooms, like Bob O'Connor's room, the gym, the kitchen, the cafeterias, and I literally sat down and pondered like my farewell, and it was something special, that place. That's the first building where my brother and I worked together, so it was interesting, and it was hard leaving him, but he gets it, I get it, and it was somewhat hard, because I had some great people there. You know, Lisa and I would always play the Impractical Joker game, and we gave each other candy, so it was pretty cool. But you know, it was a farewell. I got to work with my friend Mike there too for a little bit. Very attractive girl, April, I remember that. Her and I both liked the Steelers, so I liked working with her. Peter was okay. You know, a lot of great people there, and I kind of processed that going there, and I'm like, man, it stinks, and it was a hard fought day, and I was very, very fortunate to have worked at Kenmore East, and I was very fortunate to have worked there, and it was a very, very tough decision to leave, but you know, I didn't like one of the guys there, and I said, man, he just drove me nuts, and you know, other than him, I enjoyed everybody there. I loved working with Louie. I loved working with Louie. I loved working with Kevin. Loved working with Matt. I think those were the only three I got along with. Maybe Chucky too. Chucky was kind of weird, but he was okay. And other than those four, I don't think I'd miss anything from that place. I liked the teachers. I liked, Katie was always awesome. Les was a nice guy, even though it was weird. Don was super cool. So it was a cool place. But it was time. I got to ask you, man, what was your thoughts on your last day there? My last day, I thought, man, I can't believe this is happening. And I was just like, wow. I've gone back, and I probably will go back a couple times, but I thought, man, I wish I could have brought Louie and Kevin and Matt with me to Lindbergh, because I would love to work with those three still. Those three are awesome, and we sadly can't. I wish we could, but three great people that I worked with, and yeah. So the last day it was hard, but it made a lot of sense, and it is what it is. It's kind of like a farewell, but it is what it is. Talk about your first day at Lindbergh. How did you feel about that? I felt a little nervous. It was a lot to take in. Since I've been there, I've learned so much. No offense to Rob. I'm not trying to put Rob down here, but would I rather have Rob or Matt? I think I'd rather have Matt, because Matt's pretty laid back. Rob's cool too, but Rob's kind of like, why are you doing this? Why are you eating that? Like, it's like, dude, like, let me eat do my own thing. Like, so other than that, Rob's pretty cool though. But no, the first day it was kind of weird. Like, I just had no idea what to expect. I mean, when you first go to a new job, or you have your first date, or you have your first meeting with somebody, it's always hard. And when I worked at Lindbergh, it was so hard that first day. I was just like, how am I going to remember all these people's names? And it's the people that, it made a difference for me going there. I know it's a different world than a high school, but, the first day was, I wouldn't say hard, but it was different. It was a challenge, because, it's a different perspective going into an elementary school than a high school, and it is true. Plus, I didn't have my brother there. I didn't have Kevin or Matt or Louie. So it was cool because I got to know the people there. I knew Tommy. I met Rob a couple times, and Anthony, who was there at the time, I knew him, and so I knew everybody there. But it is what it is. Talk about what you've learned from then to now, and talk about the people there. I've learned so much. I've learned from, it's on like a high school that, you're pretty much the groundsman there, and you're pretty much the head custodian there when the head's off, and it's really cool that I get to work 9 to 5:30. I'm really excited and happy about that. But one of the things that that I've learned is, you gotta take in, and you gotta learn so much. And I think I've learned a lot since I've been there the first day, and I'm very happy about that. And I think Rob has definitely treated me very well, and he's very happy that I'm there, and I'm there to do the best I can. And if I'm not doing the best job that I can, I don't want to be at this district, and I want to do the best I can. So I want the people to do the best they can, and if I mess up, just tell me, I'll fix it. That's all I want. Don't hide it from me. Just tell me, say, hey, look, man, be cool, be laid back. That's the type of people I like. If I mess up, just tell me, say, hey, dude, sorry to tell you this, but you messed up. Can you do better? I'll do it. Just don't be a dick about it, and I'll do it. But, as far as the people are concerned, the people there are pretty awesome. Since the first day, I think there's only 3 people that were really awesome right to me right off the bat. And Kara, Karen, and Angela, I think, were the only 3 people from day one that were awesome to me since day one that I really didn't know. So those 3 are the 3 people that I really have to thank more than anybody. It took me a little time for Dawn to come around. It took a little time for Patty to come around, and the nurse, Jen, and Christy, and all them. So it took a while for them to get used to me. But I'm there to do the best I can. I'm there to do the best job that I can, and that's what I'm about. And I want to be the best cleaner I can, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure everybody there is happy. And that's where I'm at. I want to make everybody happy because that's what I want out of people. I want to be happy. I want to find somebody to love. I want to find a girl to maybe have a family with one day, and I want happiness too. And the way I want to be treated is the way I want them to be treated, and I want them to be happy. So that's my attention. That's my goal, and that's what I bring to the table. So you've met a lot of new people. Have you learned a lot of new people? Yeah, obviously, Angela, I used to call her Andrea. I used to call, I don't remember, But I think one of the things that really made me feel more at home there was Cheryl Hubert. I've known Cheryl for so long, and when I knew that she was there, I felt like, okay, I have somebody there I'm familiar with, and it made me feel more like home. And I don't know if I would have felt at home if Cheryl Hubert was not there, but having her there made me feel very more comfortable, along with Lynette Carpenter. Those 2 people made me feel more comfortable there because I knew both of them. I've known Cheryl almost my whole life since high school, and Lynette I knew from a couple years ago when she did summer school and I worked at Kemmer East. So it was really awesome that I knew 2 people off the bat, and other than Rob and Tommy and Anthony. So it was really special, and it's definitely going to be interesting. What is next for Chris Hayden? What's your next goal? Well, my next goal right now that I get to work 9 to 5:30, is to meet up with a girl, hopefully be in a relationship with a girl, get somebody to be in love with me and me to be in love with her, and get married and have a kid or 2, and that's my next goal. And obviously we want this pandemic to COVID to end, and once that does happen, I do hope to find somebody that I can love, that I can cherish, that I can be with, and that's my next goal, and that's my next dream right now, and that's where I'm at. I'm happy where I am at Lindbergh. I'm happy to be 9 to 5:30. I do understand. I know a while ago I kept saying to myself, like, oh my God, working at this school, we're going to be done doing summer cleaning by like the beginning of August. Well, yeah, but no. I mean, if we had like 10 people working, and if we had 10 people on the summer crew, we would probably be done at the end of July, early August. And that's the thing that made me realize. I said, you know what? you're right. We're not working at Kemmer East or Kemmer West where we have 10 people working to GC a classroom. We only have 2 or 3 people doing that. So it's going to go a little slower, but it'll take us a whole summer, which is kind of cool. So, you know, and we'll get some OT as well. So I'm looking forward to that. But working 9 to 5:30 is awesome. I love that I get this. Excuse me. I get to go to all the Sabre games now when COVID comes to an end, and now it'll be more I got more of a normal life schedule to meet up with somebody, and I'm very, very excited about that. So I know one thing you're kind of getting away from is wrestling. Anything you want to start getting into, or anything you want to give up, or I don't know. For me, it's hard to get into something. I'd have to do something, and I'd have to want to do it. You know, like back in the day, people were like, "Oh, you should watch The Simpsons." I had to want to watch The Simpsons for me to love The Simpsons. People got to remember that. I had to want to love watching Seinfeld for me to love Seinfeld. You know, one day I was so bored and I just started watching Seinfeld. I'm like, I want to watch it. And that's what happened with The Simpsons too. And, you know, maybe one day I'll get into something new. But right now I'm happy with where I'm at in my life, other than not having a girl in my life. But, you know, it is what it is, and I'm happy working at Lindbergh. And I gotta say to all the people at Lindbergh, you guys have been great. I know I do miss my Kemmer East family, and I do. They were awesome to me for 4 years, especially my brother. But I still get to see my brother. But obviously the people at Lindbergh are awesome. You know, obviously I don't know everybody's name yet, and hopefully I will one day, and hopefully they'll get to look at me like Chris is a great guy. And, you know, I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh my God, Chris is nice, he's awesome, he's friendly," and that's what I want to do. I want to be that person, because that's how I want to be treated, and that's how I want to find somebody. I want everyone to be happy because I want to be happy. So, you know, last time I was kind of happy, and I won't lie, last time I was happy when the Steelers won the Super Bowl back in 2008. I haven't been happy since, and you know, I'm fortunate to have this job. I'm fortunate to be here. Some things in the past couple of years I regret. I wish Joe and I could still be friends, but it's his loss, and it's interesting. All right, thank you, Chris. We hope to see you again one day. Thank you. Goodbye.